I'm excited to hear it. You play pretty good. Wow.
Thanks. Yep. morning and welcome. I am Philip Bedsick, I'm Superintendent of the Cornwall Limited School District, and it is my pleasure to welcome you to our 25th annual Veterans Day breakfast program here in the Cornwall Limited School District. And I would ask that you would please rise now if you are able for the honor guard presentation of the colors, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance, and then remain standing for the singing of our national anthem. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Thank you. Please be seated. Thank you, Mrs. Crouch, and our Senior Crest High School Conference Choir. We also thank Mr. Ballard and our Senior Crest Middle School faculty for the music that they played as we were arriving. We could just give them a brief recognition of thank you. We do have, over to my right, over to your left of the stage, we do have a missing man table. And our missing man table is to recognize those who have served proudly and bravely, yet have gone on before us. Some who have with many years of service, and some who may have served only for a short time and gone at a very young age. So I would ask now if we could just take a moment of silence to recognize those veterans who have gone on before us. Thank you. For the the breakfast part of our program, you will be served at your tables by our Cedar Crest High School students, Battle Buddies Club, and district administrators. These students and their advisor, Dr. Stephen Thompson, they also set up the drive in honor of you as you enter this part of the campus. Another important item to note is that our restrooms are located out the main cafeteria doors right under the clock there, just goes straight down the hallway. And please check out also the patriotic displays that you see in the hallway there when you drive into that area. So we ask that everyone please enjoy your breakfast, and then we will begin with our speaker and our program. Thank you.
Scribe because I'm telling the same thing over and over.
The opportunity to enjoy their breakfast and some fellowship here. I'd also like, if you could please note the insert in the program where we have many of the people who are responsible for today's event planning, preparation, and implementation. We'd like to just give them a round of applause. Thank all those people for helping. I'd also like to ask you to note in there is information and an illustration about the memorial for veterans that will be installed in the very near future in front of the new Falcon Connector building. If you look out here at the Falcon Connector, this building was built to house the swing space while we're renovating the high school. The building's close to 60 years old, so we got a little bit of work to do there. We currently have 22 classrooms in there. When we built the connector, we had to move the flagpole. So the new flagpole and the Veterans Memorial will be located at the very front of that building, which will eventually be the main entrance to the district offices there. Very fitting for our community, so thank the board and everyone for their support on that. There's a description of that within that program. We are going to move on with our program now, and I'm going to introduce our honored guest speaker that we have. Master Sergeant Timothy Urban. Master Sergeant Urban is a graduate of Lebanon High School, class of '66. He graduated from Valley Forge Military Junior College and Temple University. In 1970, he joined the Cornet section of the President's own United States Marine Band. Among his various assignments with the band, Master Sergeant Urban played for many Arlington Cemetery military funerals, including taps. In 1990, he joined the Air Force Band of the Mid-Atlantic, retiring from the band in 2008 after 19 years of service. And from September 11th, 2001 until September 11th, 2021, he conducted a Lebanon Community Concert Band, often wearing his uniform for the band's many patriotic concerts. In 2013, he wrote and published Guaranteed Notes, The Demand for Perfection, about his and his brother's days together in the U.S. Marine Band. The only time a major Washington, D.C. service band had as its members 3 brothers playing together at the same time. A second book by Mr. Urban followed in 2025, titled Tales from the Podium. My Conducting Days with the Community Band, the memoir offers details of his 20-year span as conductor and director of the Lebanon Community Concert Band. He is with us today to share his redcoat career in the President's own United States Marine Band. Please join me in welcoming Master Sergeant Timothy Urban.
Thank you, Dr. Phil. Thank you, veterans, and aspiring veterans. Before I launch into the slideshow briefly, I just want to express somewhat of an overwhelming feeling to be up here in front of all of you, wonderful people who gave, especially the veterans, that I feel humbled to be before today. And I was then advised to just cool down the humility, Tim. You served, you served. But thank you, veterans. Thank you so much. So the title of my presentation is The Redcoat Career. You'll see one of those red coats in a minute or two. The Marine Band that I served in had its very humble beginnings. In 1798, we were just a little fife and drum corps called the Marine Band, which was an act of Congress signed by John Adams. Today, it's grown a little bit, you might say, just a little. And of course, these pictures, I should say, were taken mostly from the Marine Band website so that they would be more current. But the jobs that will show you that the Marine Band did or does are the same jobs I did. Do I need to tell you how many years ago that was? I guess you'll figure it out as the show goes on. So we have over 150 of the finest musicians, and I have to tell you that having been in the Marine Band, I played around some monster musicians, as you might call them. And I know that Jeff Snyder is talking with me, the brother-in-law of one of the Marine Band members, Alan Fenner. And Skip, we call him, took lessons from my dad. He would come over sometime, I think he was coming over sometime around the time when Sue Bamberger Diefenbach was coming in for her lessons. Okay. So we have I say we, I'm sorry, I'm going back in time. If you'll indulge me, we have the world's biggest music library containing more than 120,000 titles. If you ever have a chance to go down to Washington, D.C. and go to the 8th and I Barracks, you will be amazed at the improvements they have made since then. And of course, the Marine Band has played for every presidential inauguration since Thomas Jefferson. And of course, we have the guy himself, John Philip Sousa, who maybe some of you know died over here in Reading the very night of his rehearsal. Prior to the concert the next day, he died in his bed that night. And he was quite an American icon. I think he was admitted to the American Hall of Fame. So the duties include, okay, so there's a whole list of duties. I'm not going to go through them. I was told I have 10 minutes to get this done. So we'll show you each duty as we go. So the first we have is, next. Of course, we do White House ceremonies. And White House is, you might say, that's our job as far as music goes. Presidential inaugurations, patriotic openers, parades. Military funerals, of course, and I'll be talking about that. Concerts at home and concerts on the road. And that little thought bubble is exactly the way our 63-day tours used to go across country. We never knew which town we were or which town we were going to next. And a lot of times we would zigzag from one town to the next. By zigzagging, I mean we'd play in, say, Milwaukee one day, and then we'd zigzag 150 miles the next day, and then we'd zigzag back. That place was only 20 miles away from Milwaukee. That's just the way the tours went. But there were fabulous ways to see the country. These sunset parades are amazing. If you ever have a chance to go to the Marine Corps Ceremonial Barracks at 8th and I Streets in Washington, D.C., they have a wonderful, what we call the parade deck, where the Marines, the honor guard Marines are in formation, and it's quite a ceremony. Annual Wolf Trap. When I was in the band, now Wolf Trap is one of those, it's kind of like Tanglewood and some of the other outdoor venues that are very busy during the summer. When I was in the band, Wolf Trap was a cement slab that we sat on during a very cold day in December. That's when they chose the break ground for Wolf Trap. And that's as close as Wolf Trap, I think, as I ever got. Scads and recordings. If I have any band members here who are interested in aspiring to one of the DC major service bands, like the Marine Band, or the Air Force Band, Army Field Band, the Navy Band, all excellent opportunities to take your music to the highest heights. But, as there always is, something that worthwhile is going to require a lot of work. It's the proverbial 10,000 hours of practice. So that's just a rundown. The other thing you need to remember is you need a White House clearance. So that's important, obviously. Okay, so This is the beginning of what we call the Urban Trio. We were featured on tours. My brothers, Freddie is at the top, Jimmy's in the middle, and you know, I think somebody must have bribed me when I was at 5-year-old or something, because I had this phobia for flashbulb photography. I have no idea how they got me to pose for that picture. And then that is our press photo. That's my brother Freddie, soloing. And there's a newspaper clipping that often appeared in newspapers that would be promoting my brothers as soloists for the evening concerts. Jimmy soloing, or I can't hardly see him. My brother always soloed with his legs across. Next. This is a little story worth relating. Those of us who are old enough to remember Hall of Famer Bart Starr, Green Bay Packers. My brother Jimmy idolized him to no end. So when we got out to Green Bay, well, I wasn't in the band at this point, but they got out to Green Bay, and Jimmy said, "I'm going to call Bart Starr and see if we can tell me this." And they looked at my brother and said, "You're crazy," because by this time Bart Starr had really established a name for himself. But he called Bart Starr, he talked to his wife Sherry, and he invited these guys over. They got to shake hands and have a nice hour-long session with Mr. Starr. This is the very first concert that I appeared with my brothers. We were soloing outside in front of the band, in front of the Lincoln Memorial, in front of thousands of people. Our concert site was the water. It was called the Watergate. That it was like a bar on the tidal basin. Next. And this is when we were in Annville, Pennsylvania. Next. There's the Watergate. So you can see, if you remember Hurricane Agnes, we didn't play any concerts for quite a while that summer. Everything was just flooded over. And I'm showing you the music side right now. You can see all the music stands that are kind of awash in water, and the flood ravages. Now let me explain something about this term Watergate. It had nothing to do with the Watergate scandal of President Nixon's days. There was a huge, and I guess there still is, along Rock Creek Parkway, there's a huge Watergate hotel complex. And just down the road from there, this is why they named it the Watergate. And then right across from the Watergate is the Lincoln Memorial. And that's where the people would sit. They would sit on the steps for our Sunday night concerts to listen to the band. And there I am in the lower left-hand corner, watching my measures as President Ford is dancing with Betty. That's a photo of the band in 1971. That's the cornet section that I play with. And this is one I'm really proud of. My brother Freddie played for Queen Elizabeth. He played 2 very hard technical solos without missing a note in Royal Albert Hall. And at the end, as he was putting his cornet away, one of the Queen's assistants came up and said, "Would you like to meet the Queen?" And of course, what's Freddie going to say? So he went up and met the Queen. She said, "How do you do that?" He said, "Well, lots of practice." And there's the band today at the White House. I think that's the end, right? Oh, yes, thank you. So I brought along just a little artifact here. I can't fit it in any, I can't wear it anymore, obviously. This was our typical concert dress. The White House uniforms don't have all of this gray on it. It's plainer, and it doesn't have the epaulets. But these things were worn during the hottest days of the summer. Now, they don't do that anymore. But they did then, and boy, was it ever sweaty. But anyway, thank you, Camden. That's our uniform. Now, I'll get to some remarks before we go. So what does Veterans Day mean to me? I go to the VA Medical Center just around the corner. We live less than a mile down the road from here, so it's very easy to get to. I go there for periodic checkups and things, and every time I go there, I have to tell you, I am in awe. I am in awe of the veterans. wearing their caps and jackets, some highly decorated, some not. Some are amputees, some are in wheelchairs. And I always think to myself, I am in the presence of heroes. And one such hero that comes to mind is a gentleman, and I doubt if you would know this man, he's from New York. His name is Bill Rector. I remember that after one of the concerts I directed with the Lebanon Community Concert Band, Mr. Rector wrote me a letter telling me how much he enjoyed the concert. Then he went on to tell me that he served in the Marines from 1940 until 1945. During that time, he participated in the Pacific Theater, serving as part of the American invasions of the Marshall Islands, where American soldiers lost their lives by the hundreds in retaking of those islands from the Japanese. He served on 11 troop transports, including the battleship Wyoming. Bill was just an ordinary guy, like so many other veterans, ordinary people doing extraordinary things in extraordinary ways and sometimes at extraordinary cost. That's why we celebrate the lives of veterans that we call Veterans Day. To remember, honor, and salute the men and women who stood up for this country. The next question is, what is some of my service story and its impact on my life? Well, I showed you my service story. People have changed, but basically the jobs have not. When I was in the Marine Band, I served under 3 presidents, and I used to think that playing at the White House was a big deal. And not to diminish that kind of a heady performance, you might say, or experience, but over the years, my thinking has shifted to the many funerals at Arlington National Cemetery. This is the height of the Vietnam War. The constant processions of music from Arlington Chapel to the gravesite, marching along that path in Arlington Cemetery, that same path over and over again, but one that got longer every time. The cemetery just kept growing. Years later, after I left the Marine Band, I once again felt that gravitational pull to play in a military band. That's when I joined the Air Force Air National Guard of the Mid-Atlantic, and that's the uniform I'm wearing before you today. As members of that band, we traveled across the globe to the United States naval and air bases in support of the troops stationed there. Up until September 11th, our job was to support other guardsmen and women and promote an awareness and the value of the Air National Guard. A lot of people don't know about the Air National Guard. Only when America was attacked on September 11th, 2001, did I sense an unusual, strong desire to personally get into the fray, to defend our homeland, and to fight the enemy in any way I was ordered to do that. Never had that feeling before. But I wasn't the only one, I know that. Many of us felt that way. My fellow guard bandsmen and women were now being thrust into an unfamiliar kind of status that became a new byword: worldwide deployable. In other words, we had to be ready to assist, whether it was combat or administrative, whatever it happened to be, you name it, in almost any situation, the active duty troops fighting halfway across the world. If we wanted to remain in the Guard, we had to be worldwide deployable. That was a requirement. New. Of course, everything was new then. Nothing would ever be the same. And so suddenly, the importance of making music seemed to take second place to getting myself ready to possibly engage in a combat scenario. And although we trained for it, for me, that scenario never happened. I remained stateside, but I continued to make music in support of the troops, mainly those stationed at Fort Eatontown Gap and around Pennsylvania and 5 or 6 states surrounding the Commonwealth area. In 2008, at the age of 60, I retired from the Air Guard and the military for good after 28 years of active duty and Air National Guard service. It was only after my retirement ceremony that I realized something. That to defend one's country is a privilege. It's a privilege that not everybody is going to have, but it is a privilege. It's an honor. Now, at the age of, you can fill in the blank. I think back to my father's era and World War II, and why the men and women that came out of that era were known as the greatest generation. How their military experience shaped their lives, renewed their spirits, and reformed their old selves into something better. How it enabled them to go on and lead productive lives while building this country into something big and powerful. And I have no doubt that today's generation of tomorrow's leaders will do the same. So listen up, you young men and young women about to enlist. Now you're the generation I'm talking about. You are about to become the backbone of our country's defense. So here's my perspective on service, and then let's be done. First, I'll admit that there were things about the military I didn't like. Why would I ever say that? I can't tell you, for example, how many times I sat during the Sunday afternoon commander's call and asking myself, what am I doing here? But this is what I know. It doesn't matter if you're holding a rifle or a trumpet. You're serving. You're serving your fellow man. You're serving your neighbor. You're serving your community. You're serving your country. You feel good, worthwhile. You feel purposeful. You thank God for being alive. And you thank God for having the opportunity to play music in support of the troops. And you thank God for all those men and women who have given tremendous sacrifice of their time and their body. And sometimes the ultimate sacrifice in the name of serving God and country. It has been said, and I quote, a veteran, whether active duty, discharged, retired, or reserve, is someone who, at one point in his or her life, wrote a blank check made payable to the United States of America for the amount up to and including his or her life. I'll leave it there. Thank you.
Thank you, Master Sergeant Irvin, for your morale-building service to our country, and also for sharing your message with us today. So thank you very much. It's always a privilege to be able to be here with you as we have this program for our veterans here in the Cornwall Elementary School District. And I always think to myself how blessed we are to be able to have this here, and how appropriate it is that we have this in our schools. We continue to make sure that we value those things like honor, duty, and country, and that we pass these on, and that we teach these to the next generation. So thank you all for coming out this morning. We have some other parts of our program that we want to make sure that we do recognize. And before I do that, I do want to make sure that I welcome some of the guests that we have in attendance this morning. We do have with us some of these guests include Madison Glacko from the South Region Field Director for U.S. Congressman Dan Buester's office. So thank you for being with us. We also have State Senator Chris Gebhardt, who's with us. State Representative John Schlegel from the 101st. And from the Cornwall Lebanon School Board, we have our president, Mrs. Ruth Ann Schlegel. Mrs. Sue Diefenbach. Mrs. Diana Carpenter. And Mr. Jeff Snyder. We have many district students and staff members who have informed us that they have immediate family members who are currently serving in the military, at home or abroad. And we have a couple hundred of those students and their family members here in attendance today as well, representing 90 of the approximately 112 military families of the district, in the district of which we are aware. So we are very pleased that you were able to join us today as well. Also with us today are 17 district staff members who have informed us that they are veterans. Breakfast has been delivered to any of those district staff members who were unable to be here with us today, but have informed us that they are veterans and they are working in the district today. And last but not least, it certainly gives us great pleasure to welcome our district veterans and their guests who are representing all branches of the military and holding service records that include wars and conflicts in Korea, during the Cuban Missile Crisis, Vietnam, Desert Storm, Operation Iraqi Freedom, the Gulf War, Afghanistan, and peacetime service. I'd like to thank all of you for being here this morning. We are very honored by your presence. For a number of years now, it has been my pleasure to introduce to you our Cedar Crest High School seniors who have informed us that they have committed to begin military service following graduation this spring, or they are waiting. So I'm going to ask them all to please come down here. And why don't you stand, if you stand just at least on the first or second step here so everybody can see it. And we're going to ask them to introduce themselves, tell us about their plans, and also what inspired them to pursue military service.
I'm Alex Jacoby. I joined the Army National Guard. So I did this because it was just my childhood. I grew up around the military, and it was something I always enjoyed being around. And I wanted the college benefit. I wanted to pursue it for free. It's really a good choice, and mine is my choice. But Yeah, I feel like it's a good benefit for me.
My name is Owen Elman, and I joined the Army National Guard. One, mainly for the benefits as well. I joined for the free college, but also because of the home loan. That's what really stood out for me, just like looking out for my future. But I also joined to help make myself become a better man.
I'm Aiden Miller, also going to the Army National Guard. What inspired me to join, well, these two guys right here. But also for the benefits and just to make my family proud.
My name is Camden Haroon, and I'm joining the Marines just to better myself as a person and for the benefits.
My name is Janelle Almonte, and I'm also joining the Army National Guard. And I would say I'm joining because of all the opportunities, the new opportunities I'd be able to obtain from it, and also the benefits, of course. And I think I'll be able to gain different skills and experience within it while also serving my community.
We could just give these young students a round of applause. We are very proud that we have. We're very proud here at Coral 11 that we have students that attend our high school, that see the value, that are willing to serve. And I think it speaks well of all of them, their commitment, their families, the community we have here, and it certainly is reflective of the values that we believe very much in teaching here at Coral 11. So thank you. We're excited to see what you accomplish in the future. Thank you. I believe we have some of the recruiters here as well. So thank you for being here. We're glad that you could be here with us as well. So thank you. At this time, I'd like to invite Mrs. Leslie Robson to the stage, our Cedar Crest High School Concert Choir, to sing a tribute to the armed services.
We would like to recognize each branch of service individually. Before each song is sung, I will announce the name of the branch of service. If you served in that branch, please stand to be recognized if you are able to do so. The branch songs in order of performance are Army, Marines, Coast Guard, Navy, Air Force. At the end of the song, all service members will be invited to stand to be recognized. Thank you, veterans, for your service to our country. Army.
First to fight for the right and to build the nation's might, and the army goes rolling along. Proud of all we have done, fighting till the battle
Marines.
From the halls of Montezuma to the shores of Tripoli, we will fight our country's battles in the air, on land and sea. First we fight for right and freedom, and to keep our honor. We are proud to claim the title of United States Marines.
Coast Guard.
We're always ready for the call. We place our trust in Thee. Throughout we will and shout to win the victory. Send them senses around, our prayer motto too. We're always ready to or die. I Coast Guard, we fight for you.
Navy.
Anchors away, my boys, anchors away. Farewell to college life, we sail at break of day. Through our last night on shore, hail to the foe. Until we meet once more, here's wishing you a happy voyage home.
Air Force.
Off we go into the wild blue yonder, climbing high into the sun. Here they come to meet our thunder, Adam boys, give her the gun. Down the yards, let our flames come under, off with one terrible run. We live in flame, down in flame, where nothing can stop the U.S. Air Force. America, America, your shadows grace on me.
Will all veterans please rise and mingle to be recognized?
Oh, musical for heroes moved in liberating strife, who more than self their country loved, and mercy more than life. America, America, till all success be nobleness, and every gift divine. America,
Thank you to our concert choir. It's always wonderful to hear that. Great way to conclude our program. A very special thanks also to EFW 23 for their honor guard service this morning. We're always privileged and very proud that you're able to be with us here today. We do hope that everyone enjoyed our program and your time here today. We hope that you feel the appreciation, gratitude that all of us here in the Cornwall School District and our community have for all of our veterans. Before we leave today, if you would please stand if you are able for the retiring of the colors, and then remain standing for the playing of taps. Thank you for joining us this morning. Please travel safely home.